Everyone, welcome to the Love Your Body podcast. On today's episode, we have the amazing Annette McNamara. And see, I just messed it up. Anyway, but she has been a longtime friend, my photographer for a lot of the awesome stuff you've seen me do. The iconic picture that we always love to look back on is the naked dance jump. That was my first. I literally talk about this every time about me being naked on this podcast, and I love it. So literally, because it was an exhilarating moment. And truthfully, like for people who are listening and don't know you, like if anything, you should just follow her for being able to create a safe space for me. Cause I'm sure some people will be like, oh, dang, like you'd love to like do that, whatever. But at the time, not only going through like trauma and going through different things, but then to be able to be like, you know what? It's like, I think it was my 3-year anniversary of my business or something like that. And I was like, I just need to do this for myself and need to have a piece for me. Yeah. And to be in that like dance studio, and we had my my friend Chelsea there, and she was like helping with stuff and lighting. But to just be like, yeah, we're just gonna be like naked, and it's not because I had reached a perfect goal weight. It wasn't because I was like my smallest. It was just me
representing yourself.
Yeah,
yeah, and I like it too because you kind of like. And this happens with a lot of photography too, because it's like kind of shy at first, kind of like getting comfortable and then realizing like, whatever.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Let me jump.
Yeah. And then I'm like, hey, I'm going to do all the jumps. Like, which one do you want to see? Like,
which one?
Which one am I kind of covering up, but not really, but like whatever. So the mural that I have in the LYB gym, the picture in my bathroom, if you've been over to the house and have seen, like, you just have it everywhere. And I even have it, the actual graphic in my bedroom, because it's one of those things that you're in my Fight for What You Want challenge, and which I'm so excited about.
Finally,
yeah, I love it. Yes, which is great though. But you know, with that, I try to explain to people that like, you know, I wear my bands every day because when I look down, it reminds me why I'm doing what I'm doing, or when I don't want to work out, or I don't want to eat clean, or there's other things, or there's, you know, so many excuses I can make up, right? But literally everywhere I go in this space, I see things that remind me, from when I wake up in the morning to when I go in the bathroom and I see that jump, you know, and then I go to the LIB and then I see, you know, it's just like, it always keeps me inspired.
Well, because it's a hell of a picture. Yes. And it's a extremely strong picture. It's not like you're just seeing yourself like sitting there. I mean, you're doing a pretty incredible thing, and it looks killer.
Well, and the thing is too, is that like, that's with like injury, and that was me at like extra body weight on me, and like it at a size that I wasn't, you know, my most fit, right? And it was just like, I still could do incredible things.
Your most fit is like levels above the average not fit, Danny. But at your own personal best.
Yes. Yeah.
You did not feel that way at that time.
Yeah.
And you still were a badass.
And you allowed for that to happen, because again, like I said, it, you know, it was in such a mental pivotal time, you know, too, where to have that moment where I just felt gorgeous. And I think I remember being like, looking at it and being like, oh my gosh. And then my perfectionism came in, and this was the entrepreneur side of me and all that comes in, right? And I was like, I could do it better. And I think we went and did a few more shots or whatever. And then I was just like,
your toe wasn't perfectly pointed or something, or your hand wasn't like as dainty as you wanted.
Yeah. And then literally, and then we looked at the rest of it. I was like, no, it was the first one.
Yeah.
Like, run it back. Like, we're done. We're done with this. Like, perfection. Like, it was so great. And so tell everybody, you know, a little bit, just go back and tell them, like, because we started together doing photos before that, because you had this whole mission.
When did we meet? I bet we started working together in 2018.
Okay.
2018 is when I started Beautiful Strength. And I think I met you right before I did the initial shoot, because you were in the initial shoot.
Yes.
So I 100% knew you prior to that. I think the way that I found you, you were on the Barbell Voodoo podcast.
Okay. With Jacob. That's right.
And
yes. Because I just started my business. So around 2017. And then,
yeah.
And then
so
and then 2018 is when I got into Strongman. So I think I went on the podcast like right around the beginning of that time.
Okay. Because how did I meet him? I met him through, I think he did not Find Your Fit. That's you.
Yeah.
Fit by 40.
Yes.
And then I started tuning in, and I was doing a lot of CrossFit stuff at that time. And, I listened to your podcast, and I was like, this chick's awesome. And I could see so much of me in what you were saying. Like, I've got you by a few years. Like, I could be your awesome older sister or aunt.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Awesome older sister.
Can't be your mom. Not that old, but I am older. But a lot of what you said, like I remember you talking about, you know, working at the camp, also being in fitness and challenges and dancing and just all the things that, you know, I'm not a small person. I'm not even at my fittest of fit.
Right.
I was still considered obese, and I'm not at my fittest fit now either. But I just resonated with a lot of your story, and I think when you can find people that understand that, like,
Yes.
I love fitness, I love working out, I love doing stuff like that. But if you don't work out with somebody who gets it, where you're coming from. That makes a huge difference.
There's always that barrier.
Yeah. And not to say like if somebody's been fit their whole entire life,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I'm sure you have your own struggles too. And
For sure.
Nobody's perfect. And there's not a single person out there. Where,
it's just a different lens. And it's nice. It's nice to have people who get it and can at least empathize with you on that, you know, because I've talked to people who blanket statement are just like, no, it's because you're not doing enough. You're this, you're that, you know, put you in this box.
Right.
And it's like, there's so many factors to it. And like, that's great that someone else can go through loss or go through grief and then maybe they don't put on weight. Or they don't go for the pizza or the binge or whatever.
I don't know what that feels like.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but like, but
it takes
like
all my strength.
And that's what this whole past like 2 years of bodybuilding so has helped me to kind of understand that more about like, oh, that was an emotional trigger, or like, oh, when guys were being ridiculous, I would want to eat the chocolate. Got it. But like addressing it and then working through it and rebuilding that relationship with food. But again,
those things. Those are always there too. They don't go away just because. So like I'm on my 5,000 fitness journey from growing up and struggling with my weight to getting in really good shape. And my I got divorced and then I got in really good shape. And then I got out of good shape and I got into good shape. And then I used to be like, oh, I used to be fat. Well, now I'm not fat. Well, now I used to be fit. You know, all those things. But I think even when I was at my fittest, those demons were still there.
Oh, for
I
sure.
just had different ways of coping with them.
Yep.
But then life changes or you shift to something else. Like it's just a thing. I mean, I compare like my weight problems to like an addiction of any other kind, like a drug addiction or a alcohol addiction or whatever. Like I have a food addiction and I use it poorly sometimes.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, I feel like, and I can't speak for every single female, whatever, but for most women that I've talked with, that I've worked with, and you know, and over the years, it's not even. I think that most of us deal with an eating disorder, of some sort, right? Whether that's binge eating or whatever. And when people say like emotional eating, I'm like, even classifying it like. We have emotions and we're females and we get crazy. Okay. Like
and society is set to everything revolves around food and alcohol.
Yes.
Around the world.
And but this is what I think pisses me off the most is that there's such this like negative, like of like that you can't control your food or whatever, you know what I mean? Versus everyone drinking and it's like funny when the guy's drunk all the time until it's a problem for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not inconveniencing you. Like if I'm sitting here eating trash or whatever, like what is that doing to you? Right. But like when it comes to alcohol or something like that, it's like, oh, like it's just this crazy weird thing. And it's like they both are struggles, right? But like it's I don't know, it's especially I think viewed with women too, when we're excess body fat or when we don't look the part or when we don't whatever, it's just so much more layers to it than just simply eat for your caloric intake and then, you know, or like eat for your metabolic rate. And then from here, and like, again, yes, it's a formula. Yes, it's science. I'm not saying whatever. I get it. Like I get it. But one hormone's off, stuff's not working on the inside, you're going to have more body fat. Like you're going to put on weight quicker. You know, there's just different things. You know what I mean? Everyone's body is so different. So it's like, I can't look at you and say that, yeah, you need to eat how I eat. Like that's not real. You know what I mean? Like, and everything you've gone through and all of those things. And I think when I was younger, you know, I really didn't understand the importance of sleep. I didn't understand the importance, you know, and I mean, of
boundaries.
Yep.
We were talking about that before this. That's a huge one.
Exactly. Like all this is so still new to me. And you're like, oh, because it's your 30 or whatever. But like, I'm just trying to take it all in and be like, damn, like it really does affect, you know, every aspect of everything. Because yes, I knew the mindset piece of being like positives like that, but it's even more so, you know. And with the boundaries and stuff, like what I have found is I think people are always going to piss us off, you know what I mean? Especially as like female entrepreneurs, you know, the whole deal. But it's how we react to it.
Right.
And it's just, and it's the same thing with the food and stuff like that. It's like, it's learning the coping mechanisms for you in a healthy way. Right? Because like, yes, would it make you alleviate stress and feel better to like have the excess carbs or excess fat? 100%. But how can we find a different outlet, you know?
Right.
And that's why I'm stoked to have you in the challenge, because it's like because again, it's not unobtainable. 10,000 steps in a weekend, right?
I'm trying to do it every day.
I know.
Which
Y'all
is
need to.
huge.
So y'all are so crazy, because my clients are like that too. My clients are like, Danny, I'm doing 10,000 a day. I'm going to do 100,000 by the end of this challenge. I'm like, okay, cool. But we also have people who are brand new to fitness in this challenge.
Right.
So we have to be mindful of that. You see what I mean?
Right.
So, and like, because again, 10,000, some people is nothing, right? And other people, it's like, this is everything I got in me.
Right.
So I wanted to find kind of level in the playing field. So, and again, with all my challenges, I want you guys to make your own goals within that challenge. So if it is 10,000 a day, heck yeah, like do that. We're going to support you. You've already seen a little bit of the community, the Instagram community we have. And that has a mix of like half clients and half non-clients. And so I'm really excited about it. And even doing like the Fight for What You Want posts, like to be intentional about, you know, setting up the weekend for success. Because what is the weekend, right? It's just another day, but everybody relates to eating and more and drinking more. And we have to do this, or I'm sad because I'm not doing this. And it's just this constant fear instilled. Mm-hmm. And I hate that. And it really is just another day.
Right.
You know? And we do it too much.
I live on the road and I have a really weird schedule. So I'm like, what day is it? Oh, it's Friday? Yeah. I don't even know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, is it Monday, Tuesday? I don't know. I do the same things kind of all the time.
Right. Well, tell them about, because, you know, we started Beautiful Strength and we did that photo shoot. Remind you, I was in a sports bra and underwear.
I have photographed you barely naked several times.
So when I was in that outfit, I don't know if you remember, well, I'm sure you do, with the woman that was in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's me, right? This is 2018, I guess. So what am I? 5 years ago. So 25 years old. And yeah, I'm confident, whatever. But I told myself, I was like, okay, just stay in my booty shorts and like be good with it. But I was like, okay. And then I sat there and I looked at her and I was talking with her. And I think she was like in the Paralympic
badminton player.
Yeah.
Amy Burnett.
And was telling me all about her story and stuff like that. And I was like, take this off. Like, but I was just like, I have the ability to jump and do this amazing jump right now. Like, you know, with a back injury and all my stuff. But like, I have this ability to do this. And again, it's not that she isn't an amazing athlete or whatever.
She would do it if she wasn't paralyzed in a wheelchair.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was like, put things in perspective. Like, get out of your own head. And that was one of the pivotal moments. I have very specific moments that have happened throughout my journey that have really set me back on point where I start to get off, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that was one of them. And so that whole shoot was so much more than just, you know what I mean?
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was so great.
I've done like 4,000 portraits now, but that very first one, there's a lot of things where you remember your first, and the first photo shoot for Beautiful Strength was definitely memorable because it was September 16th, 2018, and it started as a body positivity shoot because like around that time too, like I said before, I've had ups and downs of my body weight and body fitness journey my entire life. I've been fit, I've been thin, I've been strong, I've been heavy, I've been all the things. And around 2018 is when like the Me Too movement was coming out. We started seeing multiple sizes in advertising. Like finally people were waking up that we don't all have to be the same size and teeny tiny women.
Exactly.
And so I wanted to celebrate that. And my initial thought was that we were going to have everybody in their underwear and it was going to be black and white and whatever. And I went for a walk one day and I was like, you know, that isn't everybody, and that's not celebrating. Like, I have fought my entire life not to be defined by just my body size. Why would I do a photo shoot that only focuses on it? So I wanted to focus on humanity as a whole, and that came from, you know, what color your skin is, to what color your hair is, to what outfits you choose, and your fashion capabilities and your body size or whatever, all those things. So yeah, you got to come to the first one. There was 42 people at it. I think it's 42. It was all walks of life.
What month was it again?
Awesome. September 16th, 2018.
I'm trying to find this picture.
The reason why I remember it is because it was my friend Jennifer's birthday, so I recall it that way. But I knew the date of it because it was literally the fork in the road where my life changed completely. So it's a very significant date.
I've literally been trying to find this photo
Now
this
watch,
entire
it'll
time.
be wrong.
So no,
Somebody will be like, no, it wasn't. It
I'm
was
not
the
gonna
15th.
correct you even if it. I'm not going to correct you even if it is. I'm just looking for. I really wanted to know what I wrote.
You know, you can search by date on your phone.
Dude,
and
I don't even know.
I doubt I have
like
it.
75,000 photos.
I have a ton of them as well.
But it was because I said I wrote on it. You allowed us to write something. And, you know, in that moment, I'm like, okay, well, this is going to get posted. I'm like, I don't have like an inspirational quote or like, you know what I mean? I didn't have anything like specific that I like knew. So I was like, okay, like, well, I know I'm trying to love my body throughout this shoot. And, man, but it was something like, it was like when I started to love myself, I began to live or something like to that effect.
Yes. Let me see. Okay. So I'm going to go to the website. I'm going to go to portraits and then
But literally I passed through like 7 other photo shoots we've done together. But like,
so, well, what's crazy though too is, so the first shoot was like, I knew that that's what I wanted to do, but I didn't actually have it as a nonprofit. It was just in my head, the idea of it. So you said, once I started loving myself, I truly started living. Why is it not loading? But there's the picture.
Okay. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. So, but you helped me catapult it into additional things because I did that initial shoot, thought that I was going to do like, I knew it was the start of something, but then you had me come to your gym and then which was the second shoot.
Yes.
And then from there, I went to the spray tan.
Bashana.
Yes. Bashana. Went there.
Yeah.
And so like that actually helped catapult into what I was doing. And then I called myself the Tupperware party of 2018, 2019 doing photography.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got you at the Music City Fit Expo.
Yeah. That was last year. That was rad.
And that was great too. So it's like, so yes. So what did you, so you said that that's what catapulted everything. Okay. But like what else changed besides that? Like, was there either relationship stuff or was it like fitness stuff or like
well, the whole start of Beautiful Strength. So the whole reason why I named it that anyway, I'll go back, to my initial, weight loss goal. When I got divorced in 2008, I moved to a different city and I basically put all of my stress and pressure and everything into working out. I moved from California to Missouri and I was in the gym like 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
That's all I focused on. And I dropped like 75 pounds and that is the fittest that I've ever been. I had a trainer.
Yeah.
I was super focused. I wasn't really drinking a lot. I was running. I was doing all the things.
And it was because, so let me say this real quick. So like, or ask this with the divorce, like, was it amicable? Was it, you were like, I got to get out? Was it if you mind?
You'll get this. Okay. So some people are just more motivated than other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This could go anyway.
No, you'll get it because like not everybody has the same motivation level as what we do.
Yeah.
My ex-husband was a great person. Can't say anything wrong about him. We just did not have the same drive.
Oh, okay.
I was a very driven person. I was working in like corporate America. I was like wanting to move up. I wanted to do things. I got my college education. I was managing a store and he was like, I just want to smoke weed and live my life. Like great dude, loved me. And there's times throughout my life, like, that was 28 when we got divorced. And I'm like, wow, I'm going to find somebody better.
Right.
I haven't found anybody, but I still haven't.
How long were y'all together?
We were together 9 years, which seems like a lifetime ago because we've been divorced since 2008. That's a long time ago.
So from 21 to 28 or 20
from like 19, I think I met him right before my 19th birthday.
And did you
got divorced when I was
And you went to college?
I did.
Okay.
Did not.
Okay. So he was just like along for the ride. Like
he's a cool California dude that opened the door in a Doors shirt. And I was like, who's this hottie? And then we like secretly dated, which was super fun. Like, I think I always just want to recreate some sort of fantasy bullshit of not a princess story, but like those cool stories. Like I'm definitely don't need a savior king or whatever.
Yes.
But I'm a hopeless romantic at heart. And so he was great until we grew so far apart because I added more things to my life and like stepping stones and stuff.
Goals and everything. Yeah.
And I actually probably am more I'm still goal driven, but I understand it a little bit better now that, yeah, I mean, he was a great dude. Don't have anything wrong to say about him, but I was just like, when I left him and moved, I was just like, everything is on me. If I'm putting food in my mouth, it's me. If I'm not working out, it's me. If
you
I'm
just don't
not
feel
doing
supported.
stuff. Yeah. And then I just I went through a little bit of an angry moment. And I was making okay money at the time too. And I moved to a new location, so I didn't have the social life and all the things. And I hired my friend Robin, who I'm still friends with. She was incredible, and she put me to work.
Yeah. Okay.
And I did a shit ton of stair climbs, and started lifting and watched what I ate. And I was also working retail, so I was standing all the time.
Yep.
And I dropped 75 pounds, and then I was really fit for like 4 years. And there was one time I was on a boat, and this guy looked at me and he goes, "You really need to stop working out or stop lifting. You're starting to look like the Hulk." And I flipped him off and I said, "Whatever, it's beautiful strength." And I if you looked at this picture of what I looked like at that time, I would love to go back and look exactly like that, because I looked strong. I didn't look beefy at all. And even if I did, who's to say, don't say that shit to people.
Exactly. One, we don't need your comments.
Keep your mouth shut.
Exactly. Didn't ask. And then two.
But thank you for inspiring me.
Yes. Yeah. So turn the negative into positive. But let me ask you this. How was your mental, when you were on that boat? Were you I am, I feel my best or whatever? Or was there moments where you're you still didn't love yourself? Or how were you?
How vulnerably authentic do you want this podcast
I would
to be?
love
Because
for it to be.
I will tell you that when I was my fittest, I was actually mentally the worst person that I've ever been in my entire life.
Yeah, I feel
aside from, I will say right now, there's a lot of things that are really going on and going good, and I'm not in my best sense now. Totally different way.
Yeah.
But when I lost weight originally, one, being a female who's overweight, you constantly think that when people don't want to date you, that is the number reason why.
It's ingrained.
Not
in
if you're
us.
crazy. Not if you can't do whatever. None of that. It is immediately, if somebody doesn't call me back, if they ghost me, if they whatever, it's because, she's too fat. And I will say that has been told to me by people too. Yeah. But the majority of it is in my own head, and I'm aware of that. But it's just always been there.
Yeah.
And so when I first lost weight too, sometimes when you start losing pounds, you start gaining attention.
Oh, 100%.
And it's not necessarily the best attention, but you're just nobody's ever called me thin. Nobody's ever called me.
It's all new to you. It's a new experience.
I would really like you if you were thin. And then you kind of can go back and flirt and be like, so you don't like me now, huh? I ended up in the worst relationship I've ever been in my life. I literally called him the Tool. My family knew he was called the Tool. I got Tool stuff for Christmas. And then I got knocked up by him. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not an innocent, sweet little person, but there was part of me that was I'm going to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
And whatever it takes for me to do, I was not in the mindset of being this is good for me. Mm-hmm. It was, I'm leaving my husband. I need to make choices. What I'm doing is going to help me find somebody better and help me. And instead I just found all these people that were not better for me.
Right.
But then I'm also a competitive person where if you give me a challenge, I want to excel at it. So if you tell me I can't have something, it's the thing I want.
Right.
If you tell me that I'm not good enough at something, I will prove you wrong.
Yeah.
I've grown a lot more in my 40s than I was at 28 when this happened.
Right.
But I did. The first time I lost weight was a very poignant towards that person of I will show you. And then
use the negative.
Yeah. And then I ended up having an ectopic pregnancy, and nothing like a swift kick in your ass to be yeah, that wasn't smart. And then, through other bad relationships, I've put relationships with people above my own needs a lot. And that took me until my 30s to probably not do that.
Right.
So, but yeah, that was the first time. But it did, and mentally speaking, when he said that, it's like you can look from the outside and people are like, oh my God, you're running, you're doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
But it still is beautiful strength. Like I loved my body at how it was because I was strong.
For sure.
I had energy.
Yep.
I could
Capable.
run circles around everybody. I was doing all these things.
Right.
And I fit in clothes. Like I could go shopping and buy what I wanted to. And so, but it gave me, you know, in the back of my head, I was like, you know, well, maybe I don't look feminine. Maybe I do look like the Hulk. Maybe whatever. And then I was around a bunch of people that, you know, were getting nose jobs and Botox and breast
just that
implants.
culture. Yeah.
Yeah. So I ended up with breast implants.
Gotcha.
Ended up. I didn't just like, ooh, whoops,
Right.
slipped and fell. They fell in. No,
Right.
I chose to get breast implants.
Okay.
Because I thought like, well, maybe this will make me feel more feminine. And I wasn't even an A. Like I was not registering on the Richter scale at all for boobs.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, I just want some boobs.
Yeah.
And I'm a very strong independent woman, but a very influenced person too,
Gotcha.
you know? And so I ended up getting breast implants, and talk about a mind.
Fuck.
Can we say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Say whatever you want. Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what the rules and regulations are. It's like
no
FCC
rules.
approved podcast. I think you can say whatever you want. But talk about a mind fuck. Well, like clothing, women's clothing's total bullshit.
Yeah.
Like a 0 to a 16 could be all the same size. It could
100%.
be who knows what. So I went from being able to wear like medium clothes to all of a sudden I was wearing like extra larges again.
Right.
And nothing changed except for what I inserted into my own body.
Right.
The scale is also a number where I went from being like 160 to 170 because I had additional like 10 pounds of silicone added to my body.
Right.
Also in my butt.
Yep.
And then it did adjust how I worked out. I couldn't do pull-ups. Like I haven't been able to do a pull-up since then.
Yeah.
So, but you know, it just didn't fix the problem. I was looking for things in my 20s to fix
external
the problem.
things.
And I was looking for the approval that I thought I needed. I wanted people to think like, oh, she's got it together. She's working out. She's making food choices. She's, you know, doing all these things. And you can't tell somebody's full story from the outside. Like you can look the part and still be a completely screwed up human being.
Keep following along on Instagram to see the Fight for What You Want challenge and see our final winner for the 10 weeks. And also, guys, if you can, subscribe to this podcast, follow on Spotify, on Apple, on YouTube, and share it with somebody that you think that this could help. And we really appreciate it.
Awesome. And if you want to follow along what I'm doing, I have a couple different places for you. My own personal Instagram is Annette McNamara. I do think that's correct. I think it's Annette McNamara, but the nonprofit is called Beautiful Strength. It's beautifulstrength_org. And if you want the whole thing with the bus, the portraits, everything, it's beautifulstrength_bus. So you can also find all the information on beautifulstrength.org. And if you'd like to schedule a photo shoot whenever I'm in Nashville, or if you're not just listening in Nashville, always reach out for me because I'm traveling all the time.
So you do a lot of things, and you're like me. We are always constantly just hustling, that grind, anything like that.
Yes.
I was going to ask you, I don't really get into this, but do you know, like, first off, what sign are you, and what on the Enneagram are you?
Oh, okay. I'm a Pisces.
Okay.
And I am a 2.
Okay.
And those,
2's what?
So I am a 2 wing 3.
Okay.
So we're recording this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So as a Pisces, and obviously like when you're your own thing, you research your own thing, and it's kind of like the Pavlov or whatever. I'm probably not right on that, but where you're like, oh my God, I drive a red car. Red cars are everywhere. So
For sure.
I only really focus on what I am versus what other people are. But as a Pisces, it's a very creative, very emotional, needs to be, like I need to be busy.
Yeah.
Like when I'm idle is when it's not as good, or
Life's
when I'm
not
not
fun.
challenged.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be challenged too much. And I want to be loved, but I want to be loved too much. Like I'm very like,
So it's like that.
yeah.
Okay.
And one day that might just be me. I don't know. It's probably a little ADD in there and a little mental
little sugar and spice
crap or whatever. Yeah.
Everything nice.
Exactly. And does depend on my diet too. And then I'm an Enneagram 2 wing 3. So
Remind me what the 2 is.
2 is a pleaser.
Oh shit.
Which can be healthy.
Yes.
It can be very unhealthy too. I go to an 8 when I'm stressed,
See, I'm an 8.
which means I'm a get it done doer when I'm stressed.
Yeah.
But a 2, I'm a pleaser. I want to make everybody happy.
Okay.
But my wing is a 3 and
Okay.
a 3 is an achiever.
I see.
So I am constantly in battle with wanting to help other people and wanting
But
to get my
also
own
get
shit
your own
done.
stuff done.
Wanting
Yeah.
to help people get my stuff done.
I get that.
You're an 8. I can totally see that.
Yeah.
But what's crazy, I feel like the Enneagram is only in Nashville. It's
Right,
very
like-
popular here.
Yeah,
Outside of
it's
Nashville,
very-
I ask people and everybody's like, what the
I
hell
also
is
think
that?
it's very trendy right now. People are like, oh, but I think this is why I think it is. If I'm being completely honest, I think that we're in a day and age where people love to like have something to identify
Oh, yeah.
with.
Or
And
try
then
to
like
figure
because
people
we
out.
can't just be like alone. We can't just be like, this is like Danielle Dyer.
Yeah.
Period, right? It's like identifying with like, well, I have this like, you know, and even with my back injury, I mean, I bring it up every freaking time, right? Because it's almost like people forget and it always kind of pisses me off. But anyway, but it's like one of those things where I can't, if I go into every workout, I need to be mindful of it, but I don't let it stop me. I don't let it like inhibit me, right? I think that people use these things as crutches, okay? So they'll like, you know, I'm a really emotional person, so I can't do this and that, or like, I'm too this, or I'm too that, you know what I mean? And it's so to kind of pivot it to like whatever. And I just watch a lot of times these beautiful women be like, this is just me. I'm in this box.
Yeah.
I can't be anything else. This is what I've been deciding to do. It's like, no, you can change your stars. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because I mean, for me, I would say I was a people pleaser growing up for sure because I lost myself. And that was a time where I was doing it to the bad part, right? Like it wasn't for good. It was like, okay, no one's going to invite me to the bonfire. So I'm going to have the bonfire first and I'm going to put it together. Everybody show up at my house. And I literally did that. And it was pathetic because it was just like, I was so fearful that I wasn't going to get invited. But I know they were assholes. So I knew I wasn't going to get invited.
Right.
Unless I threw it. I got the snacky snacks. I got the alcohol. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they showed up. So it was just constantly like, you know, and so I lived in that and like, this is all I'm going to be. So if I still identified as that, like I would never have achieved or done any of the things I've done because I would have been like, that's just me. I'm in that box. And it wasn't until I was so fed up with myself that I was like, this is not who you were meant to be.
Right.
This is what people are telling you to be because it makes their lives better. And you know what I mean? And so it's almost like I made everyone else's life around me better. And so even there's sometimes now with the bodybuilding prep and with everything that I sit and I'm like, man, I'm kind of selfish, right? Like I'm kind of like, okay. But then I'm like, it's my life.
Well,
you know,
sometimes
and it's not selfish.
It's well, and even back to your throwing bonfires and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like to be invited to things, like in an ideal world,
Yeah.
you would have done that and enjoyed it. It's not like when I help please
Right.
somebody else that I'm not getting enjoyment out of it because I
True.
do like that.
Yeah.
The thing is that sometimes we don't get reciprocated too.
Correct.
And so then all of a sudden you're the doer.
Yep.
And if you're not doing,
Yeah.
then people aren't doing for you.
Yes.
And like I will compare it to, I love what I do. Do not think of what I say that I don't love what I do.
Oh, I know you do.
But I have internally brought a lot of that into myself, and I was going. This is what a crash looks like.
Yeah.
I am tired. I am I've emotionally not handled what I've been doing correctly.
And something I want to note too is this is also what a crash looks like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because again, I think people look at it as like, oh, like you have to look like ran down or you have to do this or you have to do that, whatever. I looked my best on stage, almost passed out right before I went on stage.
Yeah.
Like, and I couldn't see out of my left eye.
Yeah.
But nobody cared because like you look so good.
Well, we all care.
right? Like, well,
We all
yes,
care.
but you know what I mean? Like,
But it's like, it's hard too because, and from an entrepreneurial, from
entrepreneurial.
a badass motherfucking woman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Point of view, like we have goals. We have things like I want Beautiful Strength to be successful. And I don't
Yes.
care what it takes. I will drive all 48 states,
Oh, yeah.
40,000 miles, do it all by myself.
Yeah.
Take on the stories, all the things. Like you will meal prep. You
Yeah.
will, work out. You will
Yeah.
put yourself to the ER if you have to because you have a goal that you want to get done.
Yeah.
And because nobody else can do that goal for you.
Right.
Nobody else could do the stage competition for you.
Yeah.
They just couldn't. They can help you and support you.
Right.
But they can't do it. And then we also have a tendency to not reach out for help. I will
Correct.
say, like, me joining the fight challenge, this was me officially saying, I can't do what I'm doing by myself. I need help. And even if that help is a little bit of competition, competition's great for me.
For sure.
It's not the funnest when you're like, woo, I'm back in Nashville for 2 weeks. Let me do a fight challenge.
Yeah.
But I have like significantly, like when you were saying earlier, there's so many different people that were in there.
Yeah.
A lot of those people, if somebody met me right now,
Right.
they would not know I used to compete. I didn't do body figuring competitions, but I did like workout competitions, and I did like, I was a badass weightlifter and all those things. And I don't feel like anybody is ever, I mean, we're the hardest on ourselves.
Right.
But it's like, it is a constant up and down and up and down. And even as somebody who wants to do things, like, I don't want to be in that box, like what you said, like, oh, I'm this, I can't do this. I'm this, I can't do this.
Right.
But it is very stressful when you know that your best is not what you're at.
For sure.
But you're also like, okay, where do I put my energy towards? Do I put it towards my body right now? Do I put it towards my mental health right now? Do I put it towards my business?
And that's where the support with the Dandy Fitness community is. And like, that's why I try to explain to people when they're like, I can't do training, or I can't do this, or I can't do challenge. I'm like, you can be a part of it. It just, again, it's you stepping out of your comfort zone and you look like asking for help, and which is huge. And I think as women, we put everyone else above us. We put everyone else first. I've literally had women be like, I want to join your challenge, but like my kids. And I'm like, yes, you know what I'm saying? But again, until they're ready, like, then they're not going to do it. Right. So,
I also have an embarrassment level to me too, because you have known me as this person who can come in and deadlift 225 pounds. Not like the 400 like what? But like, you knew me in a way that when I did start Beautiful Strength, or like you knew me in a fit form, and then progressively I'm not in that fit form now. But when you reached out to me the other day, because you're like, okay, what's kind of your goal? And I'm like, dude, my goal right now is to literally get 10,000 steps in.
Which is great.
I am not lifting, but that's a huge improvement for what I've been doing for the past 2 years.
That's what but even when we're sitting here talking at, like, you are beautiful, you are strong. And like, and when I'm thinking about all the time that we've known each other, I have not ever looked at you as like how you're describing of like, oh, like that you're overweight or you're that this or whatever. I've just taken you like how you are. Do you know what I mean?
Same right back to you. I remember last year when I came back, because when you started doing bodybuilding, and this has been something, and it's the hardest to do for yourself, but I do have to get up in the mirror every day and be like, are you happy? But I remember going up and giving you a hug at the Fit Expo last year. And I was just like, how are you doing? Are you happy? Like, because people have a tendency, like, if you lose 5 pounds, they'll be like, oh, you look so good. Yeah. I'm like, you don't fucking know if I have cancer or if I have.
Thank you.
Like,
yes.
you don't know what is going on with me. Yeah. And like, if I gained weight or whatever, you're not coming in and being like, so what are you doing? Are you depressed?
No,
like,
exactly.
Are you drinking yourself to like happiness?
Right.
Like, it's just weird. But I'm like, I want to know, like, are you happy? Like, are you happy? Or are you doing whatever is in your life? Like, I am doing the coolest thing I've ever done in my life. It is incredibly awesome.
Yeah.
But I also know, like, wow, I would feel so much better if I had the energy level to keep up with what I'm doing.
Right.
And so as much as I've indulged in like life, but like if I didn't do those things, my business would not be where it is, because that's where I made all these fun connections and all this stuff. I just probably overindulged just a little bit too much. And then I've had medical injuries. I've had a pinched nerve in my neck. I've had a dislocated hip. I was just in a fucking car accident.
Literally just in a car accident.
And so I'm like, okay, what can I do? Like right now, I can't go out and deadlift and like all these things. Right. And if I do, sometimes too, like I'm the gung ho person that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna do all the things, and then I have burnout. And I'm like, what I can do this week is I'm committing to 10,000 steps. Yeah. And then next week I want to add in something else. And then next week I want to add in something else. So I'm really trying to do like, not a drastic change right off the bat. Right.
But see, that's
But
what
a
my
change.
community is. And that's why I
Yeah.
try to explain to people is that it is taking you as you are, wherever you're at. Like, I don't care if you used to be a collegiate athlete or if you used to do this or whatever. It's like who you are right now, your mental state, your relationship status, like everything, all of that matters. And that is how I program for clients. So it's like, again, we're not trying to, like, for me, with my people, it's like I'm not trying to get them back to something. I'm not trying to get them back to their low weight. They may be subtly trying to do that, or that may be their goal. But the way that we transform, like throughout their journey, is they come at me and they say those things. I'm like, okay. Like, I'm gonna take you as you are.
Yeah.
And then when they trust the process, a year later, they look at me like, dang, like I've lost 30 pounds, I've lost 40 pounds, but I feel better, but I'm strong, I have muscle. I don't really care what the number is. Like, and I'm like, exactly. So it's like this flip of the switch, but it's going through that process of what I do. So that's why, like, I never want anyone to ever think that there's a lot of times women, they say they want to work with me, but they're just like not fit enough, or they're not this, or they're not that. I'm like, I don't want you to wait for anything. Life is going to pass you by.
Right.
So even if you're saying just to be like, oh, I'm just getting the 10,000 steps, like, to me, that's awesome.
So have you found, how do I word this in like a way? Okay. So you obviously have changed what you're doing. Your body has changed significantly in the last year. Kudos to you. You've worked your ass off for it.
Thanks.
Have you found that because you've had such a wide variety of body sizes and you were like the body positivity influencer, and you have all these people from different sizes, have you found that since being a thinner structure that it's more challenging for you to be able to get people to come in and trust that you're not that you do care all that, not that you wanted, not
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
I'm not
I
trying to
do.
say that in a weird way, but sometimes like
No.
like the opposite problem. Are you having that now?
So it's wild, right? Because I'm pretty much damned if I do, damned if I don't.
Right. Welcome to life.
But that's,
Welcome
but yeah, one of those being, pretty much everything. But because it's like, well, before you're not fit enough, you're not athletic enough, you don't look the part, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you look the part, there's this, but like you can't be body positive as well. You know what I mean? Or it's always gonna be a thing. So that's why I try to ignore literally everyone. Like, I do not care.
Your core people are like, rad, man.
Well,
and they're like here for you.
And they're badass because they believe in the mission.
Right.
And they've seen the mission and they see that, like, I do have to work my ass off every day.
Right.
I'm not out here being like drinking and being like, yeah, party. And then be like, okay, let's get to work. Like, whatever. It's like, no.
I'm out here
like,
drinking. No, I'm
but
just kidding. I'm not
again,
right
and
now.
again, I say drinking, but again, it's not that drinking is bad. It's just that, like, they know that, like, with the body that I have, that, like, and with the things we were talking about with like the eating, so like that, like, I have gone through the struggle. I've
Right.
been in it. I'm going through it certain times. I mean, I just go through this health thing. I mean, there's so many things, and that with a back injury, that I feel like I've lived 30 different lives,
Right.
that I can help so many people on that note versus, that what we talked about before of that, just like, and I'm just going to call it like that pretty privilege. Okay.
Right.
And it's not even just about being pretty. I've always thought I was beautiful. Okay. Just going to throw it out there. Like, I am. And so, like, it's fine.
Let's just get it out of the way.
Let's get it out
Danny
of the way.
Z is gorgeous.
But I feel like, thank you. But like, again, it's just that, but my body has always like been the issue, or that's always been made to seem the issue or whatever. And it's
Right.
like, I learned a long time ago that no matter where
What's
I'm
the perfect
at,
size, Danny?
but
What is it?
exactly.
What is the perfect size that's just going to get you everything you ever
Exactly.
wanted
There's
with no problem?
There's none. And like, and I will say that, like, yes, I've had different attention, right? But like, I don't care for that attention. When I was younger, I would have loved it, right? But I don't need validation from others. I don't need comments from guys. I don't need, like, it's annoying, honestly, at this point. But it's just more so of a respect of, like, understand the grind of this, of what I do, that I am continually getting my movement in. I am working through injuries. I am running a business. It's the whole person versus just the body.
Right. And those setbacks could come back again at
100%.
some point.
And that's
you know?
another thing about, like, what I want people to understand is that genuinely, like, when you look at movement, that people act like it's, man, it's such a chore, it's this, it's that, whatever. I look at it as every time it could be my last.
Yes.
Because I've been there. I didn't know it'd be my last.
Yeah.
And then I dealt with that. And
Well, and that's partially like why I'm doing this challenge too, is
Yep.
because I have so much going for me.
Yeah.
So much going for me. And like
Right.
my knees hurt right now. My like arthritis is coming in. And then I look at, I went and hung out with my nieces and nephews. I don't have kids, but I'm like, I have a lot of kids around me, and I'm like, I am huffing and puffing, and I can't keep up with them. And I'm like, my dad just had his gallbladder removed, and he had to be on a diet. And I talked to him the other day. He's like, I feel really good. I think I'm going to stick this out. And I'm like, okay, am I like 75? Sorry, Dad. I think he's like, he's around that age, and my mom are more active. Like I went and played pickleball with my mom, and I'm like, I'm freaking dying.
Yeah.
But I was still really good. Like I'm very athletic. I'm just like fluffy athletic right now. But, you see people, and I'm like, they're like health is a big thing. Like I want to live as long as I possibly can, and diabetes runs in my family. Stress, the world we live in right now. I mean,
and I think
stressful.
It is stressful, but and I think too we're in a constant state of stress, and so we have to find those outlets and find that balance. And I believe that I'm sure everybody listening right now is like, oh yeah, like looking towards balance is the thing that keeps coming up in my mind. But it really, when you are an entrepreneur and you make your own money and you have no one to support you, okay,
and your body doesn't work,
and like things are not
don't work,
exactly, like, and that's why I even had to like maneuver a couple of hey, can you grab me a water from the fridge? That I had to, whatever it's called, maneuver my times and stuff. I had to send out an email to my clients, and it was a very vulnerable state. But I had to be like, hey, I just want to let you know, this is what's going on. And I have to shift some times around. Please be flexible with me. I really want to do these shows. You know what I mean? But it was just one of those moments where, it's going to look like I'm crying, but it's literally.
You're very emotional, or you're choking.
I'm joking.
Do the international, like, I'm
hashtag allergies. It's fine.
Back to Tennessee.
God, it's the worst for me. Like, I know it's bad for you too, but geez. Anyway, so it's just one of those things where that I don't know, that I had to be vulnerable about that because I didn't want to show weakness.
Right.
And because again, I still could train. I was like, I can see you guys. Like kind of with one eye. So like I can train you guys, but like. It's still, should I have probably rested more? Yes, but even that amount of rest I took was a huge jump for me. Yeah. And we talked about that before, like that it was just taking the rest and stuff and showing that like I am a human, and that I need that. And even the boundaries thing and being, like I said in the group, like, hey, please, like not past 7 p.m. Central Time if we can, and again, there's going to be people where they just like, they just don't think about it or whatever. But it is those type of things, because I can't be accessible 24/7.
Right.
And that's how, what'd you say? Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. But, it's one of those things too, though, like after 10 o'clock, like I'm asleep anyway. So it ain't even a thing. I'll look at it in the morning. But it's one of those where like, I feel like, I'm trying to wind down for bed, right? If it's 8 o'clock or if it's 7 o'clock, again, but here's the thing though, I was using trauma and depression and stuff like that. Like I was putting it into a ball and I thought that I was working through it. And I did the grief groups and I did the therapy and I did all the things and whatever. I still do therapy. But what I was doing was I channeled it into bodybuilding and was like hyper focused. I'm going to be perfect. I'm going to do this. I'm going to prove like to myself that I can do this. Right. And I think that I focused way too in on it. Like I found myself not living, and not to say you have to go out and party to live. I'm just saying that I didn't even have the energy because I was so mentally taxed. I'm running to go do the podcast. I'm running to go do here. I'm running to do all these things that I was stretched so thin, I could not breathe.
Yeah.
And
a lot of times we stay busy, not necessarily productive. We're staying busy because the busyness keeps you from actually feeling the things that you're supposed to feel. Yep. Or like, I don't know how you are, but when I'm alone with myself,
oh, it's the worst.
That's when the bad things happen because there's nobody to see me shove cake in my mouth. There's nobody to see me just laying on the couch watching Netflix until it asks you if you're still watching.
I'm like, yes, I'm asking.
But
I am.
like what yes, is this? I am. Thank you for making me feel like shit.
But no.
But like that, those types of things, like if I stay busy, I'm around other people. I have a check-in point. I'm like, but it's when I have to actually deal with the things that are the actual problems.
And that's the season I'm in right now, is like actually dealing with the shit. Like actually dealing with the fact that like I didn't want to be with my old coach anymore. Like dealing with the fact that like I was like, I physically can't operate at this level and see the amount of people that I want to see, like females that I train and men, but like the majority of females that I train, I can't keep doing it at a gym in Nashville and driving and whatever. Like having them come here to the LYB, like all these things.
The LYB.
Hey, you know, but like to doing that, like it really is the way that I can best benefit everyone and also still be able to put myself first, you know? And that is something that has taken me a long time to feel and to see. And like, again, you know, there's a lot of stuff I'm still unpacking with the whole West stuff. You know what I mean? And it's really sad, you know, like, and it's funny because again, like I'm just acknowledging and learning so much about myself. Cause I really did think for a moment there, I was like, man, I'm so good. Like I got this. Right. But what I had was still not, it was just, I'm like in it, but like not through it. You know, not even through it, but like I haven't even like touched the surface of it. Do you know what I mean?
Also, you and I are both very big pumpers for other people. Like, you know, we're very much cheerlead on, and then we're very much like, okay, work yourself through this.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's like, we're not going to just like lay
can.
down and not do anything.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's like,
we also have to learn
what the perfect fix is for.
Well, we have to.
Past your, you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, we have to learn how to chill, and that's why sometimes I'll sit here and I'm like, I literally like chill the fuck out. Like, I just talk to myself. I'm like, chill out. Because in my mind, I'm like, I could make it. I'm like, I could be making a reel. I could be doing this. I could get my assistant to do this, and I could do this, and I could talk to Logan, and I could play this, and oh my God, shut up. Yeah. Like, I literally have to say it to myself. Like, just like, and the only time that I truly put my phone away, it's like ridiculous, but is like at the movie theater. You know what I mean? And I love going to the movies. And so even like now I'm trying to like watch a movie here, but like put my phone away because it is just.
Well, it's a 24/7 job. We live in a world where if you don't get back to somebody right away, there's a client. You know, if somebody texts you at 11 o'clock at night that says, I really want to be a new client, or I want a photo shoot or whatever. And I'm like, if I wait till the morning, then they're like, oh, it's okay, I found somebody else. I'm like,
exactly.
Who the hell is answering messages 24/7?
A cookie
cutter
cutter
thing. To like
yeah.
just being like, cool, business hours are still 8 to 5.
Yeah.
You know?
So no, and that's what I'm saying. But I think as we all are saying here as entrepreneurs, like we have to do that. Yeah. And again, I'm not saying like, I know clients are listening to this are probably gonna be like, oh no, that was me. It's not that it's like, again, I think they have to realize that it's so many people coming at me. If everyone does it, it's not necessarily just that one person. It's just that like if everyone's doing it, so it is boundary setting, and it has to be like because I want to help and I want to be there and support. Now, if you're having like you're about to binge and you're about to like, because I have food accountability clients that I coach, right?
You're about to binge,
so
or if you're suicidal, by all means,
yes, then like okay, but like if it's something like what brand of something do you need, or like what brand should you get of something, or like I don't know, something that could wait till the next day, please ask me the next day. Because I remember I was at the fair and like I'm posting about being at the fair, and I have waited 6 years to go to the fair. Okay. That's how pathetic of my social life, you know? But, and so literally it was like, I waited for that and I was having so much fun. And someone texted me about scheduling and this was late. And I was just like, and I was technically on vacation from my shows where I still worked, and I still promoted, and I still did the podcast, and I still did all these things. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was just like, oh my gosh, guys, like I love you, but I'm gonna like go jump off the Ferris wheel now.
Yeah. Well, I have to be really good too. Is that just because somebody has messaged me or something,
doesn't mean you have
to respond. To
Correct.
it.
And I did not.
And I've gotten to and same thing. Like I have had the honorable opportunity to meet people all across the U.S., across the world now. So I have friends in like all different time zones.
Yes.
And so people are readily available. And I go through stages too where I'm like, I'm tired. Who can I talk to? You know, I'm like, I don't do dating apps anymore. So I got to find some way to get my like adrenaline rush at 11 o'clock at night, you know? So there's always somebody awake. But I have to be like, okay, just because I'm getting these text messages, like it used to really annoy me if I had a notification. Like I had to answer it or have to answer it or like, and now it's like, okay, I don't have to.
Nope.
It might burn in me that I want to, but I
Yes.
don't have to answer that.
And that is a
until I'm ready.
mindset shift.
Yeah. And now sometimes I forget. Like I'll be
Yep.
like in my head, I'm responding, but I don't want to respond right now because
Yep.
I'm not in the mindset to respond to this. And then
Yeah.
like a couple of days later, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't respond to that. Sorry.
But like I said, I think that, again, I know that it's okay. Like
Yeah.
again, the world didn't end because I didn't message that person back right away. And also, yeah, and it's not personal.
Yeah.
Exactly. I wasn't like, oh, like Annette, not gonna answer your message. Like, you know, never would I do that to somebody.
I'm trying not to do the post between 7 to 7. You keep resharing them. So even you aren't following your own rules.
I know. So, and that's the thing is like, I don't mind even, you know, the resharing or whatever. It's just that, I don't know.
Being
It's
in a group message is huge for me because
Yeah.
I usually pull myself out of every group message. They're
Yeah.
overwhelming to me. But these, I'm like, oh,
And that's what I try
really
to-
do want to like
Yes.
help other people. But group messages, for some reason, to me, I'm just like,
Yeah, and
my
that's
family
why
doesn't.
I have people that are really active in them and some people that won't even talk probably at all in them, but they see it. And even just seeing it, and that's the same with my client group too, just seeing it, it helps them be like, yeah, shit, like
well, it
everybody
also
went
helps
got
me be like,
movement in.
oh,
So
there's other people that are doing this. Like,
yes,
you
we
do
are
it
in
too.
and that's
Yeah.
what more people need to understand is that we are in this together. And it is not like, I know everyone wants to put on themselves like, I'm the only one doing this and I'm this and whatever and stuff like that. But like, we all got shit. Like we
Yeah.
all got struggles. We all have things. And some may be at different seasons or different heights or different times or whatever. But it is about how can we, you know, piece everything together. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can we be good mentally, physically, all these things? And I think with what you were talking about before about like how like, okay, well, what up at first? My mental health, this, that, or whatever. That when you create a routine and a regimen, it all flows on some aspect of that, right?
Routine is one thing that I am trying to get back to.
Yeah. And I get
I
it.
live in no world of routine, but
Yeah.
I am working on it. My dog, getting a dog is probably the worst / best thing I've ever done because she is on a routine and
Yeah.
she helps me kind of.
Exactly. And
She also frustrates the crap out of me, but also is the best thing.
what kind of dog is it?
She's a mutt, but she's like a pity border collie terrier mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, is it's like, yeah, whatever you got to do to help get that routine. Like my girls, a lot of times they'll wake up and they'll do their apple cider vinegar in the morning and they'll drink some Fight. Or they start out with the day with Fight and then they go do their cardio and go walk or stairs or whatever. And again, but that's every day.
Yeah.
And then, you know, so then it just sets them up for success. And then that way they're already like they're already getting kind of stress out of the way so they can tackle the day. Or they know that they work out better at night. And so then they're dealing with all the emotions of everything that happened, you know?
I always feel like the morning works for me the best because if I do the morning, there's a chance that I could over excel at night. But if I don't do in the morning and some shit hits the fan during the day and
You
then I
have no
don't get
time.
it done and then I'm just like, but I'm not a morning person.
Yeah.
I'm like a 8 a.m., 9
Like mid-morning,
a.m.
yeah.
person.
Oh my gosh, no, because I really want to talk about it. So basically, you asked me, or we talked with Naomi about like, you know, dating apps, and I posted about all that and whatever. And you had said something hilarious. Your comment was like, you're like,
I
what-
got a dog at the Humane Society, but I'll let you know whenever I meet.
yes,
Like,
your significant
the whole
other.
internet will be like, what? Annette has somebody.
Right. And the thing is that like, okay, this is what pisses me off. When we talked about the more attention thing, right? Like, and this is why I get so annoyed. I don't like boomerangs, okay? And what I mean by that is the dudes that come back up to you, like it's literally like a clockwork. And man, like I know when they're gonna show back up again, and it's almost like it was more hurtful this time because I, you know,
I'm
look
not your
great.
leftovers. I'm not your second. It's
Well,
like,
yeah, but also you couldn't make. What was even more hurtful is I thought on some level I was like, you know what? Probably when I do look a certain way, they'll want to lock it down. You know what I mean? But not that I would want to be with them. I'd just kind of be like, F you, right?
Right.
So I was like kind of waiting for that. But it was even more hurtful that they still didn't want to make things happen. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's not me. Really, there was never a part of this. This was me.
Right.
This was always you and your commitment issues and your issues of why you couldn't make this work or whatever. And I don't want that. I want a love that is somebody that is my person, that is supportive, that embraces me, you know, when I get pregnant, when I gained weight, when I have not, you know, that just loves me for me. Right. And it just seemed like so just ridiculous. Okay. So when you talk about like meeting people, whatever, truthfully, I mean, 2021, I did the dating apps and I tried that, right? And it was just bad things after bad things because either the people didn't look like their profiles.
Our time is very, very, very precious.
Yes.
And when I'm taking time out to talk to somebody
Yes.
like that or meet somebody, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding
So
me?
I was
Like,
getting
that's just wasting my
notifications.
time.
Well, I was sitting there and I'd be training clients. I get notifications after notifications of these guys. And literally they're like asking me, so like, what do you do? What do you, I'm like, dude, no. Like, honestly, I would send them my podcast link.
Yeah.
Like,
So listen to this. Check out my website.
I mean, and you act like that's like whatever, but I was like, I don't have time to go through all of my shit.
Yeah.
And like, yes, I could be in a basic level. I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm a personal trainer, because I'm not. I'm a body positive brand owner. I run a successful business. I do really cool shit. I've been on billboards. I've been seen all over the world.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? But I don't want to be like, bam, 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 tire flip.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, there's so much that I'm like, how about stop sitting here on your ass and take initiative and be a man and ask me on a date or whatever. And like, let's go.
Yeah.
Come pick me up. Like, again, I will make time to do that. I will not make time to
Banter back and forth 3 days.
And then for them to just ghost because, oh, I have a house, or, oh, because of this, because that's happened before too. I've had a dude literally sit and be like, yeah, I made X amount of money last year. How much did you make? But you know what I mean? And
Bravo.
No, but I literally was like, congrats. Like,
Yeah, neat.
cool. Like, that's how that went.
I could for days talk about dating life, but I think for the last like 2 years, I think I've been so super focused on what I'm doing in the trip around the US and trying to figure out what the next step for what I'm doing is. And like, I've had people that are like, so when are you going to settle down, or when are you going to do this? And I'm like, what? Okay. I feel like if the relationship's the perfect relationship, we could do a long distance, we could do a whatever.
Make it work.
But there's a lot of times too, like I'm the type of person, I will go cross country for a cup of coffee with somebody.
Yes.
You know, and I want that for me too. Like
Right,
when
but
I tell
it's so
somebody
hard to
like,
find
come hang out for a second.
Yes.
Well, I got to do this. And I am not an excuse person.
No,
like
I'm not
I
either.
am an adventure, say yes or get off the freaking train.
Well, and that's why I try to tell people that I'm like, I'm always, someone was like, oh, like you went kayaking? And I was like, yeah, like I am so that person that like, I'm down for anything once.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So someone's like, hey, we gonna go.
Don't isolate what she just said.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Let's make that a clip. So, yep. And so, no, but like truly, and again, I'm not hating on those that met their significant others or people through apps. Yeah. Great for you. Cool. Love it, live it, whatever. But for me, it is, I don't know. It's more of just like this whole thing of like the whole feeling like pressure to have to tell everything when I want it to just be authentic. I want it to like get along. So what has been good for me is having different circles of friends and different groups of people that I've been able to meet in the bodybuilding community. But then also in just like other avenues and stuff too, but like meeting different groups and like going to things, like going to my client's songwriters, event. Like there was not a cute guy in sight at that event, but it was an opportunity that
people are going to listen and be like,
no, I mean, like there was,
I was there,
but
Logan, were you there?
Oh my gosh. But like, it was one of those things where like, it was okay because I was just putting myself out there and there was opportunities. And that's why I will say too, that I got so closed off because all the dating apps and all the apps were horrible, 2021. And then I started my bodybuilding stuff kind of like towards the end of 2021. 2022, April is when I got serious about it and I cut off like everyone, like guys, everything. And so I, stopped drinking, stopped having sex, stopped doing a lot of things, whatever.
I stopped doing those things, but not by choice.
Yeah, well,
Some of them.
But it was for me. It was because they did not serve me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so from 2022, I always get my times weird, but I think that's right. Yeah. I really was like, I'm putting myself first in every way. And if it even has a glimpse of like not serving me, I don't want it around.
Yeah.
Okay. And I had to, for me, the apps were a waste of time. I had no energy for that. I had no energy for bullshit. And that's something that bodybuilding has taught me, which I love, is that there's like, I was already like not about the nonsense, but I kind of indulged in the nonsense a little bit. Like how you said, like, I kind of will open up the apps again.
Yeah.
I was very like, 1 foot out. Maybe it'll happen. And then I was like, nah, sis, I don't have time.
Yep.
Whatever. Like, I don't want it. So 2022, then I started, so I focused on myself, whatever, and my goals, and then, have continued to do that. But just now, I would say, 3 years after everything has happened, like that I am able and open to being like, yeah, like, maybe you're not a piece of shit. Like, or maybe, or you know what I mean? Or like, maybe there is hope that there are some decent guys. Now, maybe it doesn't look like the picture I painted for myself.
Right.
Maybe it's not the criteria that I once had, or maybe it's like the, whatever. And not to say it's like settling, but I just think that it's more of like adjusting your plans and adapting to it. And also, life is short. And so if some guy wants to, drive and come take me out, like, I'm going to have him like do that.
Yeah.
Because that's all I have been manifesting is someone that just is open and real. And then, like, I'm not going to turn you down like for that. But it's
I'm
the
not
games.
going to focus my entire life and my worth on if I don't find somebody. Like,
yes,
I had to have that kind of come to Jesus moment or whatever, because I'm 43 now, so I've probably surpassed having kids. And that was a big thing for me for a while. Is like, we're constantly taught like you should have a partner, especially if you're gone to church at all. It's like, you should be married. You should like all these things, and you should have kids, and you should have all these things.
Yep.
And so for the first kind of, 28 years or whatever years of my life, I was like, oh, I'm missing out because I'm not. My thing is like, I think as humans, that is just a natural feeling to want to be with somebody or have somebody or
to
like
be loved.
Community and be loved. And so when you're not in that partnership, you always feel like something's lacking. Yeah. But then I know a lot of people who are in those partnerships who are fucking miserable.
But here's the thing. Yes, and I totally agree.
I definitely, my standards of being a single person is I have learned how to take care of myself. I have learned what I like, what I don't like.
Love that.
I have learned the things that I'm like, these are my non-negotiables. Yeah. These are I could budge a little bit here and there. Yep. And also like the adventure thing. Like I cannot give up the thing that I have worked the hardest for because it's my life. Yep. So I'm not against dating. I would love to date, but I don't want to date somebody who is just wasting my time. Yes. I don't want to date somebody who is so far off of the spectrum that I'm at. But also dating is as a person who emotionally eats and a person who that's how I deal. Like the super high to super low of dating is like too much for me to handle. So like it's like an addiction. You swipe and it like dings, or like your friend sets you up with somebody and like you can like that person for that whole first night and you get the butterflies and the excitement and all those things. And then if that goes away, it's like just a depth of like pain. So I feel like someday that magical person might walk into my life and I'll be like, oh, this is the best.
What I'm
He's going to be, his name's Jason Momoa. Or
right, exactly. Well, and hey, manifest. But like I believe that one, manifesting is real, but then two, I think that until you are truly ready for it, because that's what I'm saying. All these other people that came through between these few years and stuff, whatever, and that probably will still come through and whatever, it's because I wasn't ready. I wasn't. Like, I could say that, like, yeah, like, I want to get out and date and I want to whatever, but like emotionally, like, I truly was not, because I wasn't good with myself yet. You know what I'm saying? After all that, like, it took me a couple years to even be able to look at myself in a selfie. You know what I'm saying? Or to see myself again. And just because anybody that's gone through depression or sadness or tragedy or loss, or whatever, like it makes you kind of it makes you see yourself differently, you know? And I used to always be so bubbly and so positive and so whatever, just naturally, right? And I really didn't have to work for it. I didn't have to because this shit didn't happen to me. Like, there were some things I'd gone through, but it wasn't like devastating or whatever, right? Or abusive to that extent, right? Like, I still had my deals with food or had something, whatever. But definitely never lost anyone to death. I never had dealt with falling in love and then falling out of love, really. Like,
so just get it over all at once.
Yeah. Maybe. Oh yeah. I'm very efficient with things, And so I don't know. So that's where it's like, I could say maybe I was, but genuinely, you have to test these things. You have to know your limits. Same thing with the bodybuilding stuff. Like, I didn't know what my limit was until I hit it.
Right.
And when we talked about being like at rock bottom and stuff, what we mean is like, because again, pressing ourselves so thin and so much, because we are trying to do all these things, and then on top of that, work on ourselves. It is a lot. So you need someone that's going to support, not take away.
Yeah.
And I believe that
And
in any
you're
relationship.
already in relationship with so many other people.
Yes.
So you're already that person who is supporting, all your clients and all the people through social media. You're like, you're all that person. So the person that you want, you want that person to be an equal of being able to understand that and not be somebody who is pulling more energy from you.
For sure.
And not that your client,
No.
just interactions with
Yes.
people in general pull energy away from you.
Oh,
Your
100%.
spouse should pull some energy, but not all of it.
And how you talking about like how you would go across the world to do the cup of coffee thing? I totally get that. And I think that that's like, what do you mean? Like she was saying that she would just like if somebody was like, hey, I want to get a cup of coffee, she would drive.
Yeah.
Because she's the kind of person like that. And I am too, to where like, I mean, I literally went and got like all these fall decorations and like, and spent money and like got reservations and things for this weekend. And
I'm like, I will come just to give you a hug or say hi or whatever. Like, it doesn't have to be like, oh, we need to plan this out for whatever. Like, I'm a say yes adventure-y person. Yeah. And if I get 5 minutes with you, it's great.
And which is awesome. And so that's why, like, I even love that, you were in town, this like could work and that, we could make this happen today. Cause it's just, like I said, you are such a beautiful spirit. You're doing so amazing things that like, I hate seeing strong women, especially right now, be so like just crushing it and then be like, but I am crushing it, but I don't have the significant other. I don't have the support. You know what I mean? Or like this always has to be one or the other.
That too. And then I'm not a dude. I don't know the exact answer to this, but sometimes I think personalities like ours can come across as intimidating.
Man, I knew you were going to get into
and
this.
I'm like,
yeah.
I can be intimidated.
It's bullshit,
Believe
though.
me. Well, okay, to a certain extent,
It is, okay.
I don't want some weak ass person that's not going to have a backbone at all. But I also am like, I don't understand what's intimidating about me. I'm an
Okay.
excited, adventurous, I love life person, and I am dedicated to going gay.
Yeah.
Just imagine what I am like to date.
Right.
Fucking awesome.
I know. Well, you're like, you know how much, yes, exactly. And you know how much you can bring to the
as
table.
much effort as I put into
And
everything else,
yes.
I would put tons of that into
I'm
a
the same way.
relationship.
So here's the thing that I've been told is there's a whole thing about like masculine and feminine energy. And what I was told about myself, I can't speak about for you, but what I was told from somebody on the outside telling me, well, he was saying that I have masculine energy about me. And what would that, how would that make some, I don't know how he put it, but he was just saying like, and this isn't somebody who was a love interest, it was just like a mentor or stuff. Anyway, but he was just saying like how to make sure to keep that in check. Okay. Because sometimes because if I'm like, I cook, I clean, I do all my stuff for me, well then you don't need somebody to help you. You know what I mean? But you don't, but
I want somebody
right.
that wants
But
to do
but men want to feel needed.
Right, but why is that my job to like down myself?
It's not to down
like,
yourself. It's not to down yourself. I'm learning. Okay, Logan,
I'm not saying that I'm not against like being like okay. I understand that men want to be wanted, needed, have a purpose, and not like that was probably something in like my relationships too. Is like no, I can get my own door. I can do this. I get that, but at the same time, I'm like. Why should I be any less of who I am?
Right.
To like, I feel like the right person for me is going to be like, that's Annette, love her to death.
Yes.
And then she also like softens herself a little bit for me too.
No, and I believe that too, but I do think that as like,
Danny, you do not give up who you are.
as I know, but I do think that as like, what's it called? I see it from their lens though. I understand it now and I'm getting it. But like for me, it's I don't know. It's just interesting because I really like I think they see my persona like on Instagram. They see like whatever. Like, man, she got it all together and whatever. It's like, yeah, like there's still things though that like I have to go through. There's still struggles or still whatever. So like, it's they have to see that second layer. And so the ones that are coming at me or that maybe are not coming at me, they're not seeing even wanting to dive into the second layer. So they're irrelevant anyway.
Well,
Do you see what I mean?
sometimes too, like people that I've dated, they think that they're dating the badass, and I have a vulnerable moment, like I cry or something, and they're
Right.
like,
Well, yeah,
the heck's that?
that's
I'm like,
what I'm saying.
sorry, I'm
It's-
human.
That's the man's experience, though.
What?
That's the man's
So
experience?
the week-
No, me. Like when
No,
I.
no, no, and he's
oh.
saying,
Generally, like, that's an issue that like, men say that they do it because they're supposed to be strong. And if they
but they show the
Oh,
weakness that the women
no,
are
I
like,
love
whatever.
that.
See, we love that because we're so strong.
Yeah.
right.
But a lot of women that are not going to love that,
Yeah.
right? So then there's that negative stigma. So if we're an outlier, you see it like it's there's so many things that we're combating.
Yeah.
And I get that, but I would never want to change being a strong woman because again, I feel like there at a moment in my life I wasn't. And I literally felt like I was choking for years. Like I couldn't speak, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't look because I didn't look the right way or I didn't stand, there was so much. It was exhausting.
Yep.
And no one wanted to date me at that point, and rightfully so, because I was so worried about everybody else. I didn't even know what I wanted or who I was, right? But then again, and then I look at it now, and I was like, oh well, nobody wants to date me or whatever now, but or really me. But it's like again, it's just like the right person just for me like hasn't. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But like you just don't know until you go and experience it, right?
Right.
And I think that you should be able to be vulnerable and to say the things that you want to say and everything like that. And that's why like I try to be as clear as possible on social media about things, right? Because everyone's like, oh, it's all fake and whatever. I'm like, bruh, I'm sitting here saying the shit. If you're not picking up or you're not listening, that's on you.
Yeah.
Like I'm literally giving you all the things of like, and so you know what?
I don't even know.
Wouldn't even know what.
Like you, like take initiative with Danny if you want to. You know what I mean? Like you talked about it. Like I know.
Yeah.
It's like if you don't take initiative with you at this point, you're just asking for it not to go well.
Oh, right. Like if you don't take initiative with me. Yeah. Well, and because that's the thing is I'm like, listen to the podcast. You want to know, you want to know some stuff? Then just listen to it. Like
One episode.
like
Just
one
at
episode
least.
and you'll get a good gist of me, I think,
Yeah.
And I don't know. So it's just like I hate that so many people, it's like because they just want to see one version of one person and that be them all the time. And that is not real, or that person's just not being real with you. But I think that people, even now in this day and age, they don't know how to be real. Because especially like if you were going to the grocery store and someone says, hey, how you doing? You're like, good. Like, I'm good.
Yeah.
But then you're not. Like sometimes my clients will be like, hey, like, how you doing? I'm like, I'm not good.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and there's also I mean, this isn't even just to do with dating. This is just life in general, especially like you have a presence, you have a, you might have a bad day,
Yeah.
and then you have to go pay a bill or you have to go do something. And like, I always try to think, I'm like, I want anybody's reaction that meets me to have the full Annette. You know,
Yes.
like I hope anybody who ever, comes across me is like, wow, that person is really awesome. Like
Yeah.
awesome human being. And then I'm like, have I ever had like a bad attitude towards somebody or something?
Oh,
you know?
yeah. Yeah.
But it's the same thing. It's like, it's that layer. Like you might see that second layer.
But but no, and that's the thing is with my prep, I knew that people were going to see me crazy.
Yeah.
And I just let them know. I mean, and they were very understanding and very good, but like,
I'm fucking hungry.
no, but literally though, but like I was just exhausted. That was the main
Yeah.
thing. And so, or they knew that like I had to eat while I trained them. Cause if I don't, then you're going to be doing 1,000 reps because I ain't gonna count. And I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna be out of it. So it's just like, you want me to eat if you want to have a good workout.
Right.
So let me do it. But everyone was so understandable. And I'm so thankful for the support in the community and everything like that. And I do believe, I mean, and honestly, I will say that a lot of my strong women that I train I'll say the strong women that, let's caveat it with, that make a good living for themselves, like can self-sufficient operate on their own, right? They are single. And I do think that it's something to say about that whole like masculine energy of like, we're like, now like we got this. Well, when we've been doing it for so long, we got it, then who wants to come and like help? Does that make sense? Like it's again, there has to be some window of that vulnerability. And like, I think that because people get these personas that they don't show that vulnerability ever. So people are like, oh, like, well, you're good.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like I show my vulnerability very well.
Yeah. I mean, I think you do too. I think you are pretty real on your stuff. But again, it's in like meeting someone and being open. And like, I probably have the what's the word? The opposite of what people do is I'm maybe too open at first. Like I'm like,
I have that problem.
yeah,
I
yeah.
share a lot of information.
Yeah.
And every once in a while,
'Cause I wanna make sure they
I probably
know.
could have held like something back. Well, it also comes from that childhood, like walking into a room, being the biggest person in the room. And I'm like, if you know all my issues first and I'm laughing first, you can't hurt
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Even though you, that's
You
totally
can,
wrong.
yeah.
But I think even as an adult, I'll do that too. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to spill everything. Or I want to, like, part of what I do with Beautiful Strength is like, man, if we were all just honest with the shit that we were going through
Yeah.
internally, externally, the world would look so different because there would be
Yes.
nowhere to hide and there would be nowhere like
For sure.
to think that somebody actually has it all together.
Yeah.
And there would be no pointing fingers at other people for the things that they
Right.
don't have together. And I'm like, that's not an ideal world. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But I just feel like if everybody would be a lot kinder to each other, it was like we all have something going on and we all have different layers and different things. So if there's still a man out there that it thinks that I am total masculine energy and got it all together, I don't.
Right.
I need
and
a-
that's okay. And that's again, and that's again, I think that it's like, you know, it's like I said, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? Because it's like against a lot of other women, if you were competing, they're like, oh, well, she doesn't have it all together. Whatever.
I will say that women trust me a lot more at the size that I am now, being around their husband. Like, I've always worked in a lot of male dominant areas between
see.
photography to entrepreneurship to corporate America and all that
But
stuff.
I think that's so messed up.
I think it's getting better
Yeah.
now because of society is changing.
Yeah.
Society is changing to be like, hey, we're all on the same team. Let's lift each other up.
Yeah.
There's more body images and styles
Yeah.
and TV's changing and magazines are changing. Like
Right.
there's still a long way to go, but I think there's more conversation about it. They also have like the younger millennials and stuff and Gen Z that are coming up are starting to be like, we don't care. Like
Yeah.
we don't care about the label. We don't care about this. We don't
Right.
care about that. Like be a good human and I'll
Yes.
like you. Be a
Yeah.
dick and no.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of really good benefits in that because it is opening up to not feel that stress. But
Yes.
like you and I, even though I'm older than you, we grew up in the ages of laugh it off,
Yeah.
you know, internalize it,
Yeah.
and it will take years to undo that, if ever.
Yeah.
But I work on it every day.
No, exactly. And that's all you can do and that's why when I say like love your body, it really is now coming, like it's now kind of been changing, like love your body throughout. So it's like, again, not just like in that state every day, because there's gonna be days you don't, and that's normal. But the loving it throughout is just like the holistic approach of like, okay, we're gonna continue to keep making an effort to love it and to keep fighting for it and to feel our best, right? And when we do that, other opportunities are going to come with that. Job opportunities, like their, relationship opportunities, because you truly like love that person, and it's not just the body, it's the whole self.
Right.
And that was something that I really wanted to work on with bodybuilding, was that like, man, because that's why I got so pissed off about the physical stuff, because mentally I was like, I got this shit. I didn't let it get, I did let it get to me a little bit, but I was like, I'm in it. Like I am like my best. And so that's why when people were like, oh, like, are you nervous about being on stage? I was like, no, I can't wait to be on stage. You know what I mean? I was like, I cannot wait to be on stage. I don't care if I'm the biggest one out there, or if I have more body fat or whatever, because I worked my ass off. I'm up here. I fought for what I wanted. What I'm pissed off about is that I feel like I can't get movement in, and I am not going to have anything take that away from me. And having that happen, that was my wake up call.
Yeah.
I couldn't do my stairs, and I was like, no, you know what I mean? Because I enjoy doing that. Like that was my outlet.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not going to have that happen. So it did make me have to sit with some things and really be like, okay, wait, we got to reprogram a little bit,
Yeah.
So again, kind of taking that path, adapting, overcoming. But I do want to, again, I don't want to finish out without saying, and applaud you for, do you want to announce what just happened?
Oh yeah. Why I look like my face is all like ran off because
No, it's great.
I was crying because on my way here,
Yes.
I won a $25,000 grant.
Yeah.
It's big. It's big, huge for the nonprofit, and
Yeah.
I had to pull over, and I was like bawling, and I came in here, and I'm like.
No, I would have been too. I would have been. Oh, this is
It's just a
perfect.
big thing, and it's all about
beautiful.
promoting diversity and
Yeah.
in the media, and so stuff like this. I mean, you do it too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's going to be able to get my podcast back going. I have a children's book that I have coming out, plus an autobiography.
Can't wait.
Trying to sit down and write a book and run my life at the same time.
Explain to me, are you using a ghostwriter or are you just writing it?
Right now it's on note cards.
Cool.
The children's book, I wrote out the first one and I actually have a meeting with the girl I want to illustrate it.
Heck yeah.
The other one, I thought, I was like, January, February, March, I'm just going to sit still and I'm going to write. I do have one chapter done.
Okay. No, that's awesome. That's more than I have, because I've been like wanting to start mine, and I have things, but I just have to like start.
I need to get a ghostwriter or somebody that I can just tell people to.
I talked to somebody, but man, it was so if somebody has somebody, let me know, because it was just going to be so expensive. And I was like, bruh, this is absurd.
Money is always... I know money and manifesting, and like if I told you I started with $500 when I started this thing, and like I've probably raised over $150,000 over the past years and stuff.
Incredible.
And it hasn't all come at once, but it has been it comes. But money is always going to be a stress for me. It also that is a stress. Like I'm in some debt right now that I'm trying to get back out of. And so. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but
well, no, it's okay. No,
I'm like, and money,
but this like with 25,000. I mean, like with this.
25,000. Hell
yeah, it's such a blessing, and like you've probably been manifesting that of for
a while, and like I just got out of the ER. I just got out of having a transmission breakdown and stuff, and like all these things, and so this is huge, and I think it's the next catapult to get me. To the next thing.
And also I want to say manifesting and hard work, both.
Manifesting and hard work.
Because you are, and you have been hustling, and I love that. And what I hoped that everyone, who's going to follow you and everything from this, but like continues to watch your journey, because it is amazing, and you are doing great work and helping people just feel, like I said, like those pivotal moments, like I'll never forget, and see every day. And that's all because of you and being the person you are, not based off of your body.
And I'm telling you, once we are friends, we are friends.
Yes, exactly.
And even though I see you from a distance, and I'm like,
no, but I feel that, and I appreciate that, and I need that, and I want that, and I love that. So for everyone who does that, it means more than and so I'm so excited to have you a part of the challenge. I'm so excited to have you on today. Like, I'm so excited to see where you go from here.
I mean, I met you in 2017 then when you first started this, and you're like, fight for, I just want to say fight for your right to party, and it's not that.
I know. I love that too, though.
But like your first
find your fit.
Find your fit. Was small, and then it got bigger and bigger, and your signage got bigger, your photography got good, better,
right? Yes, my podcast got better,
and your podcast, like everything has just, and I know the amount of work that it takes. So every once in a while, and I know the answers that entrepreneurs sometimes give, like, are you doing okay? Yeah. And I'm like, no, seriously, like, please be real with me and tell me how you're really doing. Like, are you okay?
Yeah.
How are you, like, legitimately? And I feel like you and I have like that relationship, though. Yeah. We are both busy. We are both doing our thing. We are in it. We're not always in the same room together. But you have legitimately been an inspirational person to me for, I'm going to cry, but you have sweet. You have, I think you are a genuine person.
Thank you.
And I really, really, really want you to be successful. So this problem will probably do it for you. So
oh yeah, exactly.
But I've been an emotional wreck too. I'm on muscle relaxers. I was in an accident. I just got $25,000, and I'm sitting with a person I really like.
I love it. It sounds like a fucking badass life. You know what I mean? Like,
all right, awesome.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and until next time.